Hello everyone. So this video is going to be on tracking the progress of the spells you've cast. So I say a lot. I've noticed that. Oh well. Tracking the progress of your spells is really important because it really allows you to take a look at the kind of work you're doing and the results you're getting. It's important to see if you're getting results, because if you're not getting results, there may be some things that you need to tweak as far as when you're casting the spell. Paying attention to your intent, paying attention to your focus. Did you break focus at any time? Are you self-doubting? So this is why tracking the progress of your spells is important, because it allows you to take an inner look on the spells that you have cast and whether they are reaching their full potential and they're coming full circle and reaping benefits in your life. It's good practice to record your spells and the outcome of spells that have been cast. And I am just looking at my notes over here. You can keep a section in your Book of Shadows just for recording spells. And this is what I do. And if you remember me talking in my previous video about the difference between Book of Shadows and Grimoire, Book of Shadows is a personal book. Grimoire is more used for general information. This could be general information, could be like, color associations, planetary things, things like that. Where your Book of Shadows is a very personal tool. And, it has your Sabbat rituals in there, and it has your personal spells and affirmations, and anything that means something to you would go in your Book of Shadows. So a good practice to have in your Book of Shadows is to have a section, whether it be in the back, the middle, the front, wherever you want to place this section, to be able to record your spells. What this section would look like would basically be recording information like the day and time the spell was cast. What moon phase was it? What time of the day was it? Like, was it afternoon? Was it the middle of the day, the afternoon, the afternoon, the morning, the evening, things like that. The ingredients and the materials used. So if your spell was creating a poppet or a sachet or a sachet, as they call it. I always want to call it sachet because that's what it looks like, a sachet. You'd have materials that you needed to use. If you are using a candle spell and you are using an anointing oil and you're using herbs to roll it in, those ingredients that you've used. And also another reason that it is good to record your spells is because if your spell worked, now not only for looking into spell work to see if the reasons why it may not have worked, but if it worked, you can actually use that spell again. So that's a good reason to track it. What was the spell for? Is another thing to record when you're recording your spells. What was it for? Love? Was it for self-love? Was it for money? Was it for healing? So recording what the spell was for. How did you feel when you were casting the spell? This is important because did you feel tired? Were you exhausted when you did it? Were you sick at all? Were you really happy and upbeat? Were you self-doubting at all? Were you not feeling the energy while you did it? Did you feel a boost of energy while you were doing it? Did you feel great afterwards? This is important because all of these things add up to the success or failure of a spell. Did you invoke deities? If so, which ones? Why did you invoke them? Do you feel a personal connection to them? Is this a deity that you work with regularly? Did you see any results from the spell? So basically having like a chart and having, like a section, you can just put it on a basic, let me just grab. I'm just going to grab. So you can basically have it on a lined sheet of paper. And what I'll do is I'll just show you, because I don't want to put my Book of Shadows on YouTube. Just, that's a sacred book and it should be that way. So basically, let me just do something really quick. Let's see. We'll put that. Hold on one second. Be right with you. Don't ask. All right. Almost done. And this is something that you can use for a whole variety of spells, because you'll have a lot of sections to fill in. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. I'm just going to do it very, very quickly. Now you can use a sketch piece of paper as well. So basically, I know it's going to look backwards and the lines are all crooked. So I mean, if you take your time and actually make a chart, you'd have the lines going all the way down. So if I would have write this smaller, if I would have put date above time, then I would have, you know, a smaller section, but I was just trying to write it really quickly. Which is how I have it in my Book of Shadows. I have date and then time underneath. And then so I have a smaller section. The line goes all the way down. So you would record here. You know, you can even put date and time up here. That way you could write it in these spaces. But when you have these like holes down here, that tends to get in the way of a space to write in. Unless you're using some kind of like drawing paper, then that would be a good thing you can do, is you can use it all the way to the end of the paper. So sketch paper, anything like that. You can use recycled paper even, because you can use the sheet protectors, like the sleeves, and just put it inside that plastic sleeve. So basically, on the day that you cast your spell, you would fill in the date and time here. Next, we have MP, which is moon phase. Next, we have ingredients. So that's all where the materials that you would use. I leave a space, so I'll put a date here, and then I want to make sure that I have plenty of space. So if I allow myself, I don't predate or I don't do anything like that, because if I'm putting a date here but I need 3 lines to fill in a certain section, that's fine. So I can just put another date down here, or however many spaces it takes, and I space out. So let's say if I put my date and time here, but I fill in all the way down to here, I'm going to leave this next one empty, and then I'm going to fill in the next one. So that way it breaks up the different spells. So ingredients, you would put what you've used, any kind of materials, any kind of ingredients, the purpose, so why you did the spell. Was it a love spell? Was it a healing spell? Feelings, that is any kind of emotion, energetic response you got during the spell. Deities, you can either put yes or no. You could put which deities you called in. If you didn't put any, you just put no. And then results here. So results don't always come right away. Results sometimes take time. And so being patient, and I feel like this is why it's important to really leave space, because checking in with your spell work weekly can help you. Because if you, and I'll just show you really quick what I mean, because it's hard for me to formulate words that make sense. So let's say if I, let's say if I fill in all this, right? And let's say if I've ended here, okay? I'm still going to leave a couple of lines, and then I'll leave the space, and then, the next one can start there. But I'm going to leave a couple of lines empty, because I'm not only going to check in on week 1. I'm going to check in on week 3. I'm going to check in a month later. So I want to be able to record those results, because sometimes it doesn't take a week. Sometimes it takes, longer to manifest for you. So that's how you would record your spells and be able to track them and keep track of them. And it's important to record every spell you do, because you want to see if your spell work is coming to fruition. If it is, then you've got it. If it's not, then there are reasons why. Are those reasons because you didn't actually you didn't actually need what you thought you needed? Could it be that you weren't focused? Could it be that you were distracted in some way, or you self-doubt your ability to manifest in your life? Could it be that you were sick? Being sick and being tired affect your energy. Obviously, being tired affects your energy, but being sick, even a little bit sick, can really, really put a damper on your energy. It can really affect your energy and the ability that you have to project that energy into a spell. So being mindful of how you are feeling even before you go into any kind of spell work. Am I too tired for this? Am I not feeling my best? Am I sick? Being mindful prior going into this, making sure that you are truly prepared to cast a spell, because you don't want to keep casting and not see any results. And that is why it's really good reason to track, because if you are casting spell after spell after spell and nothing's happening, it is time to reevaluate what could be happening in the process of you casting spells. It could be something as little as a break in focus. And if you're not accustomed to casting spells, if you're new and you haven't mastered, and I can't say mastered because mastered is like it's like one of these things that you have to be a professional. If you haven't learned the art of visualization and really seeing things in your mind's eye, because that is everything. The intent needs to be there and you being able to see these things happening in your mind's eye. If you haven't learned that art of visualization, because that can be hard for people, it's important to practice, and really get used to being able to see things as if they've already come true for you. That way you put the energy out there for it to manifest into the universe. And the last note that I have here is, if nothing came of the spell, review why this may have happened, which we had already discussed. But that is basically the gist of tracking the progress of spells and why it's important. And it is so, so important. It really, truly is. And I don't miss an entry because I think it's important. Even from, I've been in the game for a long time. And, I still track my spells because I know that if there's going to be a time if I'm not focused enough, or if I get distracted, or I'm tired, even now. It happens even now. Sometimes I think I need something. I don't actually need it. I want it. And that doesn't mean that it won't happen for you. But if you are telling yourself that you need this, but deep down inside you don't need it, you just want it, and that's a reason for you to kind of like self-doubt, like do I really, really need this? That can alter the effect of your spell as well, or the outcome. So, but I do hope that this video was helpful, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.